Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back to the Wine Eat podcast. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure you go ahead, subscribe, like, share, and engage us in the comment section. Yeah, to some point, I do agree with you, and I'm not naive to the way things are run in general, but I'm just saying because you can do it, because you have the power, doesn't mean you should do it. I mean, so it looks like even in the private sector has a little bit of restraint than the public sector. Because some places they'll say, you can't have the same family members working in the same department because it's a conflict of interest. So if you're awarding a position to your friends or to your family members, shouldn't that be a conflict of interest as well? I think it should be. It should be, regardless of whether or not you're able to afford it, whether or not you qualify for it. It should still be a conflict of interest. So if Trump appoints his son or his son-in-law or his daughter-in-law into a position next to him where the taxpayer are paying for it, everybody will say, it's a conflict of interest. Everybody will scream and yell about it. And I think it should be the same when we're talking about African politics, when we're talking about leadership in general. We should try to make sure we avoid conflict of interest. And the reason, those politicians engage in activities like this is because they don't like dissenting voices. All they want from you is to say, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. That's all they want, right? But if you bring someone else who's an external, who is going to challenge you on each decision you make, is going to make their jobs difficult and they have to justify all of their decisions. But because they're too lazy, they don't want to put in the work to convince people. This is why I think my vision is better than yours. This is why I think this is the way we should go. They put a bunch of yes people in their areas around them so that they can be the king. And those people too, because they need the money, they need the job. They continue to say yes sir until it is their time to get out of power. I think it shouldn't be that way, but I'm not naive to the way things are done. I'm just saying that if it looks like a conflict of interest, they should respect themselves and not even try to, be part of it.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. But let's take it back to our various, places that we work. I do agree with you that it shouldn't be like that, But let's take it back to where we work. In your department, people under you. If you want to promote somebody, who would you promote? Who would you rather promote? The person that is always challenging your decision, or the person that just run with your decision? Because at the end of the day, it boils down to the ease, making things or making life easy for you. You don't want to promote. Ideally, most people wouldn't want to promote somebody that is critical of them. You don't want to do that, because they will keep you on your toes. They will probably be, you know, blocking your decisions unnecessarily, or questioning your decisions unnecessarily, or questioning your competence and all of that stuff, because, well, for some reason they may think that they know more than you. Or would you promote the person that, you think is not going to give you headache? He is loyal. He's just going to follow the decisions. That is why you see that most people that have dissenting voices in private sector, in the public sector, they hardly get promoted. If you want to get promoted, you want to get to the top, just shut up. If you keep talking, especially when you are questioning every decisions, when most times you don't even proffer solution, you just complain, whine and complain. It's sometimes even if you are providing solutions, because a lot of times, maybe, higher ups, they go to meetings and you are not opportune to be in that meeting, and they make a decision, they reach a decision in that meeting, and then they run with that decision and try to implement that decision. You that was not opportune to be in that meeting, now you want to chime in, you want to suggest what they could have done better, but you don't know the whole specifics as to how they arrived at that conclusion. So most people will rather promote the person that don't give them headache. It's like that. It's like that in politics. If you are too ambitious, nobody will hold your hands and say, "Let me help you become a councillor. Let me help you become a vice president." That is why you see that Atiku did not carry Wike as his VP because Wike is too ambitious. Okay, he went and carried Okowa that is, very soft spoken, not very ambitious. He don't rub it on your face. So he's kind of laid back. That is, in fact, you see that he even carried Obi as his VP prior to that. Those are the kind of people they move around. But if you are very critical of people, if you always have opinion on everything, nobody will carry you. It happens in America, it happens in Nigeria, and I think that is exactly how it happens in other climes. If you if your voice is too loud, you always have an opinion about everything. You always think they should have done it differently. Nobody will. In fact, if you are doing an interview, some of those things they check it out. If you are interviewing with companies and they see that well you are too ambitious, and the person that is interviewing you maybe is the manager is going to be your manager and he's sizing you up, you may never get that employment. They may go and hire somebody that they will spend the next 3 years to train. But so long the person is going to remain loyal, is going to remain quiet. But you, even if you have all the experience, you have all the expertise, but so long they sense that you are too ambitious and you are raising your voice and you always have opinion on everything, they may not hire you. It's just the world we find ourselves.
I agree to you. I agree with you to some extent, but I would like to say that people in your department, people that truly cares about what you're trying to do. They're not just doing it out of spite. They're not doing it because they don't think you're qualified to be in your position. They're doing it because they want to truly understand, how you came into that, came into that decision. What are the things you took into consideration? And I'm sure a lot of employers too. You'll find employers whereby they welcome dissenting voices. They want their egos to be challenged sometimes because even if you're a yes all the time, at some point the disadvantage is going to show up. So they won't really think well of you. They'll think, hey, whatever I say is gonna say yes to it. So I get what you're saying. People want someone that will make their lives easier. And people want someone that will make their jobs easier. But at the same time, if you don't welcome dissenting opinion, you're not gonna be able to see your blind spot. So people that are bringing in questions, they come up with questions, and if you haven't thought about a question, you can see, hey, what if we do it this way? What are the positives and the negatives of making a particular decision? So I think in some places, dissenting voices are welcome. And I know in some places too, they frown upon it. They don't care about your opinion. They just want you to come to work and get paid and go home. They don't want your opinion. They want what they want, and they don't really care about your opinion. So there's some places like that. And at the same time, there's some places that want you to really test the strategy that they're putting in place. They want you to test the system. Can you break it? What ideas have you put in to make sure that this strategy will hold for a very long time? So to some extent I agree with you, to some extent I disagree.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way we can agree on everything, but I just know that from experience, I don't have a lot of experience from experience. Even in the school system, if you are too loud, you may not even nobody will carry you under their wings. Professor, no lecturer will carry you under their wings if you are too loud, and they say that you are too well. Will I say too ambitious? But it's just unfortunate that that's the world we find ourselves. In politics, you talk too much, nobody look at what happened, what Obasanjo did to Atiku. Atiku is still suffering it today because Atiku showed his hand when he was under Obasanjo, and Obasanjo took his time to put everything down in the book. And most people don't like Atiku due to that. In fact, Atiku, you know, broke out to go and run for presidency under APC where he was VP to Obasanjo. You see how that end up? It doesn't end well. They always, you see how Yaradua, how they put it, Jonathan with Yaradua because Jonathan is quiet, he can't multiply. And you see how they removed him? No issue. You see what is playing out in Rivers State? They just go and bring Odonyo from somewhere, sit down, look. They go and bring him and put him there. When they got tired of him, they remove him and say they suspend him. Now he's on his knees begging to be reinstated. There are people you will never do that with. Wike is one of those people. Wike single-handedly chased Amechi out of Rivers State when he became the governor. He was on Buhari's neck from the start of his administration to the end of his administration. He was on Buhari's neck. He did not let go of Buhari's neck. There are people like that. And in fact, even today, a lot of people, even Amechi is regretting why he helped Wike become governor. He became the governor and grew bigger than is bigger than Amechi today. So those are the issues. In the workplace, people wouldn't want to promote you if you are too ambitious, because they will probably be thinking that tomorrow you may come for their job. So it's just a dicey situation. It's just that, if you are too ambitious, my advice is that, just tone it down, find yourself in the middle. You shouldn't be having opinion about everything. Sometimes you see things and overlook. That is the only way in fact, for you to grow in a company, put in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you really have to be shutting up. If you are talking every time, they will show you the door, for real. I don't have a lot of experience, but my limited experience, I've seen it happen very often. You have opinion about everything, you question all their decisions and stuff like that, they will force you out straight up. Is it that they fire you, or you will just quiet quit? Because before you know it, they will start withholding information from you. The email that they used to include you, they will start removing you from that email, from that communication. In fact, they may even, go and be working directly with somebody under you. It's just an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I want everybody watching us to also comment and let us know their opinion on our on our takes. So thank you all for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. And we want to hear from you. Let's know what you think about that discussion. Thank you and have a good one.
Thank you.